Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 21 Hats podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Feldman. This week, our conversation focused on issues each of our three business owners is confronting as they get back to business. We talked about whether it's safe to start flying again, what you do if you run out of inventory, and whether there's any way owners can prepare for the possibility of a second shutdown. We also discussed how you entice employees who've either been happy working from home or happy collecting enhanced unemployment back into the office. Do you offer hazard pay? And if so, how much? And when do you stop paying hazard pay? We're trying to stay in business, for God's sake, said Jay Goltz. We will have been shut down for 2.5 months. And there's a point where I'm the only one that's going to be losing money in this deal. At the end of the day, they're getting extra money from the government for unemployment. They're getting hazard pay. Everybody at the end of the year is going to have a banner year for income, and I'm going to lose hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. This week's 21 Hats podcast lineup features Jay, whose businesses in Chicago include a picture frame shop, artist frame service, and a home furnishing store, Jason Home. Karen Clark Cole, who is CEO of Blink, a user experience research and design firm based in Seattle. And Laura Zander, co-founder and CEO of Jimmy Bean's Wool, a digital version of a neighborhood yarn shop that is based in Reno, Nevada. Even in good times, owning and running a business can be a lonely pursuit. Our hope is that these weekly conversations will, if nothing else, let owners know they are not alone in facing these extraordinary challenges. If you know a friend who might benefit from this conversation, please share it. You can subscribe wherever you get podcasts. And if you do, please review us and rate us. It makes a big difference. If you have questions or suggestions, you can always email them to me. My email address is lfeldman@21hats.com. This episode is called, Dude, You're Gonna Get on an Airplane? Before we get started, I'm here with Adam Whitty, who is the founder and CEO of Advantage Forbes Books, which helps entrepreneurs write and publish their own books. Adam, I know you think all entrepreneurs should consider writing a book. Why is that?
A book is the most powerful marketing tool in the world. It's a way for you to share your story and your company's story without anyone ever feeling like they are being sold to. It builds authority, it builds credibility, it builds expertise for you and your business.
Adam, we're recording this in the middle of this unprecedented crisis. Is now a good time to write a book?
Believe it or not, Lauren, I would argue now is a better time probably than ever before. Entrepreneurs and business owners have an unprecedented amount of time on their calendar that, quite frankly, they did not think that they would have. We are working with entrepreneurs all over the world who are using this unexpected downtime to create an asset for their business that will pay dividends for the rest of their career.
If someone does write a book, how will they know if it's effective as a marketing tool?
They use a book as a sleuth marketing tool to generate new customers, to advertise their business, and ultimately to help convert prospects into customers. And for many entrepreneurs, a customer can be worth hundreds, thousands, even tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so one new customer into your business can more than pay for the book. Speaking opportunities, PR and media opportunities, those are some of the other benefits.
I know a lot of entrepreneurs who've wanted to write a book and have never quite gotten around to it. How do you help somebody in that situation?
We do our best to make it as easy and painless as possible. And we do that by first pairing you with a master book planner who spends some time interviewing you, and those interviews turn into a blueprint for your book. Then we assign a ghostwriter to work with you to ask you questions about that master book plan, to interview you. It's all done over the phone, Lauren, so it's super easy. Those interviews are then ultimately turned by the ghostwriter into the manuscript of your book.
If someone wants to learn more, where should they go?
We have a free copy of my best-selling book titled Book the Business, and we're offering a discovery consultation to any 21 Hats subscriber that wants to learn more. AdvantageFamily.com/21 hats.
You heard him. Go to AdvantageFamily.com/21 hats to get Adam's book and to sign up for your consultation. Now, back to the show. So let's start with a quick update. Karen, we haven't spoken with you in a couple of weeks. Is Blink still doing reasonably well?
Yeah, things are going well. We're starting to work on a back to work plan, a phased approach over the summer.
Let me clarify. You've been working all through this. By back to work, I assume you mean back into the office?
Correct. Back into the office plan. Yep. Everyone has been very busy. And in fact, we are slightly above 20% growth for the year, consistently, even over the COVID times.
Wow.
Hey, so I want to interrupt. Sorry. So you're back to the office plan. How are you going to do this? Like, I've got quite a few people who are really getting comfortable working from home.
Yeah.
And we're not so sure that they're going to want to come back. And, part of me doesn't blame them. So I've been thinking maybe we require them, we let them work from home 2 days a week for a while.
Yeah, Laura, I'm one of those people. I'm quite comfortable sitting here at home with my cat and my birds and my dog.
Oh my God, you're like the old cat lady?
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, totally.
I hope you keep the cat away from the birds.
Cat's watching the birds out the window. It's great. It's a little show. Anyway, what we're doing is, you're right. Most importantly, though, we're asking people to continue working at home if they can throughout the summer, at least, until further notice is what we're saying. So we're saying if you can, it's still the best advice is still to continue working from home as long as you can. That's the safest for our employees and for their families. And also we're trying to allow space in the community and in our offices for those who need to go back. So if you don't need to go back, we're asking people, please don't. There are some people who are, they've got a lot of distractions at home. They don't have a good office setup. It is more difficult for them to work. And other people are just lonely. They're in an apartment by themselves and they can't take it anymore. And so whatever the reason is, we're letting everyone just decide. You may have a space reason, all kinds of different reasons. And we're not going to judge any of that. So if anybody wants or needs to come back to work, so we have a few people who, once we open up, like hosts, that will actually need to be in the office. Then we're doing a poll. Actually, I just sent the notice out today. So on Monday, we're going to call people and find out who actually wants to come back. And then we'll create a office plan for the number of people who will be in the office. So in terms of spacing desks apart, the guideline is still going to be and this is all starting in June. So phase 2 is slated to be starting early June. And of course that could change. But right now we're saying we're going to open our offices beginning of June and we'll create the proper safety structures in the offices for people to come back safely. And so that's meetings of no more than 5 people. We'll keep the desks apart. We'll still use all the sanitizing and those kind of protocols will be in place. And
are you getting are you picking up any resentment from the people that have to be in the office and that don't have
There
a
are
choice?
very few of them. There's like 2 people that actually need to be there.
Got it.
So no.
What about you, Jay? Sorry.
I got a big problem with it. No, I got a big problem with it. I've got half of my businesses shut down completely because it's the framing business and there's no accommodation out there for being open. And my home store sells, I have about a 7,000 foot lot outside selling plants now. So I got a full load of plants so I can be open. The city already came in last night to audit us because someone complained and they admitted it was probably a competitor.
Jay, let's clarify there. Chicago has not allowed all retail to open. You're kind of using a little bit of a loophole that you're. No,
it's not a loophole. It's not a loophole. It's no loophole. It black and white says if you sell live product, nursery products, and you're selling to landscapers, you can be open. So I'm open. But
you're not just selling the plants. You're opening your whole home store, which if you didn't sell plants, you wouldn't be able to open.
Yes, exactly. But Home Depot's open and it's selling all kinds of stuff that's not allowed, but because so it's not a loophole. It's just.
But that explains you have competitors who probably are not open, and that's why.
Not probably. None of them are open.
Okay.
They don't sell plants, so they're trying to poke me in the eye, and it's like tough luck, And they said you're doing everything right. Everyone's wearing a mask. Everyone's 6 feet away. We're cleaning everything. Of course, there's someone that comes in that was just waiting for an opportunity, and my guy says to him, you know what, you need to wear a mask. So what does this guy do? He's got to go back home, get on Yelp, and roast us for, I'm a doctor, I'm a surgeon, and this is baloney, and no one's going to tell me to wear a mask. And he goes into a whole tirade about this whole thing is overblown, and Northwestern Hospital's half empty, and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, really? A, are you really a doctor? And what an embarrassing thing for doctors everywhere. Like, we're just following the law. And it just, I was waiting for this though. And then he went and did it also to Whole Foods, so he's going around because he's got nothing to do, but going after people who are trying to follow the law and stay safe.
Jay, when you started this, you said that you have a big problem. Is that the problem that you were referring to?
No. The problem is, so the people are coming into work in the home store, dealing with customers, not thrilled. And I got people sitting at home getting paid, doing nothing. And so, of course, they think, well, wait a second. I like that program better. I like to be home doing nothing and getting paid.
So what do you do about it?
What we're going to do is we're going to pay hazard pay to the people that are coming into work and give them. And then, of course, and I'm very, very appreciative of the PPP, but the SBA, and I've read a lot about this, has refused up till now, continues to refuse to give any guidance on this. So when you say you can pay hazard pay, what does that mean? Can I pay 30% more, 50% more, 10% more? And you've got a bunch of law firms and accountants out there trying to read the tea leaves, all admitting they don't know, but going, well, our impression is, our opinion is, our guidance is. So I don't know exactly how much to pay.
Isn't that an optional thing that you can just pay what you want?
No. Yes and no. I can. But the question is the PPP police going to come in and say, oh, no, you can't pay hazard pay of 50%?
Well, you can do it. The question is whether the loan will be forgivable, right?
Right.
Well, but they don't care. They're not looking at each individual. It's the sum total, isn't it?
No.
It's just the dollar value plus
you don't know.
the FTEs.
Who knows?
That's my impression, Laura. That's my understanding.
Yeah,
well,
as long as
but you're using the same words. It's your understanding. Me too. I agree with all of you. But like, who knows?
This doesn't answer the question, but they have said that they will automatically audit any loan in the amount of more than $2 million, and they will spot check loans of less than $2 million.
I'm less than $2 million. So that is, again, some of this stuff, for instance, there's some good, this is what I've been doing for a week. I'll give you the black and white and I'll give you the gray. The black and white is you can absolutely hire people to replace people left, no problem. You can, and that's about the only black and white one I have. The gray ones are, can you wait a week or two? I'm going to guess probably not. So I already started it. I immediately put everyone on it. The gray ones, how much hazard pay can you pay? No clue, no guidance whatsoever. And can you pay vacation pay? I'm not going to do that anyway, but some people are asking that. Again, no guidance. So I'm going to pay some hazard pay. And then if the employee's still not happy about it, there's a point at which, like, you know what? We're trying to stay in business till you all have jobs. I'm sorry if, and this is a word I don't let anyone use the word fair because I don't believe that word fits in business. Is it the right thing to do? Yeah, we're going to give a little more money to people that are working. But if they want to go, well, that's not fair. They're not working. Okay, life isn't fair. I don't know what to tell you.
Karen, has anything come up for you? Or do you have any concerns about meeting the requirements for the forgivability with your PPP loan?
No, we're being pretty careful. But again, it's like Jay said, it's a little bit hard to understand it. And
it's very murky. There's no question about that.
Yeah, it seems the rules are changing. But, in any event, it'll still be the cheapest loan we could ever get. So we're looking at it like that.
Laura, what's going on with Jimmy Bean's Wool?
Kind of a hybrid, of what Karen's talking about and what Jay's talking about. So with the different businesses. So we just got notice yesterday that we can open our retail. All retail can be open and restaurants can be open starting Friday, I believe.
Wow.
In the state of Nevada.
Friday meaning a week from today when we're taping this? Or meaning today?
Oh, wait, today is Friday. What's the date?
It's easy to forget what day it is. Today is Friday, May 8th.
God, she's got to go now.
Okay, yeah, tomorrow. I guess tomorrow, I think.
Tomorrow's Saturday.
Yeah, okay, well, then I meant Saturday. Jesus, it ends in day.
Unless it's different.
So technical.
I'm in Midwest. It's still Friday here. I don't know what it is out there.
So I think, I guess as of tomorrow, and retail stores are only supposed to have 50% capacity and blah, blah, blah. So from the Jimmy Bean standpoint, what we're starting to talk about is what does reopening look like for us? We're not going to open tomorrow. We don't really have any plans for multiple reasons. Our retail store manager is an older guy. He's in his 60s and is very uncomfortable working with the public. And so he's self-furloughed a long time ago. So we don't really have the staff to man the retail store right now. So what we're talking about doing is, do we do 2 hours a day or 2 hours, 3 days a week? And our clientele is typically skews on the older side as well. So,
but it's not a big issue for you, right, Laura? I mean, you don't really need to open your retail store.
And that's the other part of it. Yes. So we don't really need to, we may just start with curbside pickup. So, it becomes more of a community service because, the knitters are going to go crazy. They're going crazy at home. They need their yarn.
Can I tell you about my curbside pickup? They're ripping up the street in front of my business right now to put in some new cable things. So my curbside pickup now has a 50-foot long truck out in front. The entire street has now got construction guys ripping up the sidewalk.
It is a good time to be doing street work, Jay.
I said that, really. It's better now than a month.
I have a question about that, though. The curbside pickup is a totally different set of logistics. And so are you guys just suddenly learning how to do curbside pickup or how are you dealing with that?
We walk they drive up and they open their trunk and we, in our case, we left the product out in the yard. I have the parking lot adjacent to the building and they put it in their car and they leave. And I got to tell you, other than this doctor guy, if he is a doctor, everybody's extremely appreciative and happy to be out and happy to support us. And it's really been, it's one extreme to the other. It's a love fest on one side where they're thrilled to be able to come in and stuff, or they got a problem, but I've only had one guy that's given us any issues.
Jay, you basically opened that store last week during our taping of this podcast. How has the past week been? Has business come back at all?
Yeah, absolutely. People are coming in. And I will tell you, my friend in Arizona, Hall of Frames, he's got 8 stores. They just opened up for appointments and he said he's crazy busy. So I keep telling everybody, anybody.
He's requiring people to make an appointment before coming in?
Yes. But I keep telling everyone, anyone who thinks they can predict what's going to happen, they're guessing because it depends what business you're in, there's plenty of people that have been sitting home, not spending money, that are going crazy. They can't wait to go out and spend money. And then there's other people who have used up their money. So there's no one size fits all to this thing. Some people are going to be just great and some people are going to be devastated. There's going to be some people in between.
We had a huge bump in business those couple days that the stimulus checks all hit.
Oh.
I mean, huge, like record-breaking days.
Wow.
Which is it was a little disturbing to me as a saver. I'm like, oh my God, all these people got their stimulus checks and they went out and bought yarn.
They're blowing it on yarn.
They're blowing it on yarn.
Better than drugs.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Probably,
yeah,
I guess.
Exactly. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, and we may go the appointment route as well. So we're just kind of trying to figure it out. I mean, the Texas side of things, again, we're a wholesale business and it's just dead. Our sales have dropped so much. So we're taking this time right now. That's why I was a little late on this call to talk through QC procedures, really cleaning up all the things that have been neglected in this business for the last few years. So retraining everybody. We're bringing in somebody that was a master dyer years ago, and she's going to start retraining. And I just bought a ticket to head down to Texas next week. So,
whoa, dude, you're going to get on an airplane?
I am.
You are such a brave soldier. Wow. Fearless.
No, it is what it is. And
I did just see a report. Actually, we had it in the 21 Hats morning report that for some people, they're saying it's actually a relatively nice time to fly. You kind of get the plane to yourself. There are no lines anywhere. There are some advantages to it.
You probably don't have to smell anybody's bad breath because they've all got masks on.
The food choices at the airports are somewhat lacking at the moment, I think.
Well, but keep in mind, like in Washington State anyway, we're still under shelter at home order, so we're not allowed to unless it's really necessary.
Yeah. Well, and if you get on the plane and there's other people near you, all you have to do is give out one little, and that'll be it. They'll run to the back of the plane. So
totally.
You can clear the whole half of the plane for yourself.
But I also, I just had a conversation yesterday with the owner of a trade show that I had gone to in January in New York. And I had dinner with him and we had gone to a Broadway show and, we hugged. We hugged, we sat at the same table together right across from each other, blah, blah, blah. And he confirmed yesterday that he has not gotten the antibody test, but he's like, after we had dinner, A couple days later, I had 103 temperature. He had every one of the symptoms. He's like, I am 99% positive. And I think I've told you guys that
A bunch of your people got sick.
Really sick. Thousands of people from this show got sick.
That's how it spreads.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that I've already been exposed.
They haven't proven yet that if you have had it, you won't get it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I maybe naively feel like all of my travels through Asia and India for the last 4 years, I mean, going multiple times a year, and I have gotten wicked sick over the last few years. There's part of me that kind of hopefully naively thinks that perhaps I've built up a bit of an immunity from licking the banister.
I think that's quite possible. I think that makes sense.
I'm not a hand washer. So even in India, like
well, that's good to know. Yeah. Next time I see you, I'll keep that in mind.
Laura, last week you expressed concern about the supply of yarn. You were a little bit nervous that you would run out of product. I think you said maybe in 6 weeks. Has anything changed with that?
No, we just might run out a little faster. So one of our mills opened this week and they're at 25% capacity.
When you say one of your mills, that's one of the mills that a supplier, I think that you said they were both overseas, maybe Peru, Brazil.
Yeah, there's a mill that we buy from in South Africa, and then there's one that we buy from in Peru. So the South African one opened at 25% capacity this week. And the Peruvian one has not quite opened yet. So we've put our orders in, and I actually prepaid, sent them a note last week and said, can I prepay you a big, huge chunk? Because we haven't bought inventory in a while, and we've had a little bit of sales. So I've been able to take that and hope that maybe we'll get to the front of the queue.
I got to tell you, I'd be careful with that because I prepaid a supplier in Italy for some molding, frame molding, and he went bust and I never got paid. I lost like $100,000. I mean, it happens.
Well,
and they take the money. So I'm just saying, I'm not arguing with you. Gave him 10, 20 grand, but I would just be careful because some people will just go broke and take the money.
Fair point. I mean, this business has been around for like 200 years and it's family owned, and we've been.
Also, there are only a couple of suppliers in the whole world, right?
Yeah. Fair point. I've got
calculated risk. Well. I'm not saying you were wrong. I'm just saying calculated risk. Yeah.
Can you just say that I was right? Can we just get that on?
Yeah, I did. I said you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I'd limit it. That's all, just in case, because you never know.
Any other contingency plans? There are other ways to get yarn?
We still have some older inventory on site that's not current inventory. So not current like types of yarn. So we can do something with that. We've got enough, and we have what we call kind of replacement yarns. So we have a hodgepodge of inventory that is just kind of random shit. You know, Jay, you've probably got some random stuff at your place.
I have hundreds of thousands of dollars of that I'm working on getting rid of because I should have gotten rid of it before now, but for sure now I'm going to get rid of it. Let me ask you a question. There's going to be some knitting shops going closed, I assume?
I'm sure there are. Yes.
Have you considered sending out an email to everyone you know saying, listen, if you're thinking of closing and you need to get rid of inventory, please call me. I'm in a position to, buy inventory and then, you'd be throwing them a life preserver because it's not like they can go sell it out at cost.
Yeah, we maybe could.
I think it's funny that what's going to happen is in a year from now, we'll see everyone walking around with hodgepodge sweaters that they had to knit based on the available yarn.
It's not that desperate quite yet. But yeah, that's an interesting thought, Jay.
Can you just say that's a great idea, Jay? Can I play that back to you since you seem a little testy about being right?
Jay, let me ask you, when we first started taping these episodes, you were kind of bemoaning the fact that you had excess inventory. It sounds like now it turns out that might actually be a good thing.
Let me tell you what's interesting, and I don't want to mention names. There's some suppliers in this industry, and I'm talking about big suppliers that the word on the street is they might be going down because one of them in particular is owned by a big company and they might be done with them. And if that happens, it is going to create a huge hole in the marketplace. And then connect the dots. I buy from Italy and Spain. They've been shut down now. I might end up being the only guy in the United States with a lot of inventory. So I went from, oh my God, I got too much inventory and I sent too many corner samples out for free to these frame shops, to, oh my God, I've got a lot of inventory. What a great thing. So it's a possibility that in a month or two, this thing could be an opportunity for me. So I don't mind having a warehouse full of inventory right now.
Same page. Again, I mean, depending on the two different businesses that we have, but the Jimmy Beans side of it, we had way too much inventory 6 weeks ago. And now it's just going down and down and down to a really healthy spot. On the wholesale side, on our manufacturing side, we didn't have enough inventory to begin with because we bought the business with zero inventory. So that's where we're really suffering. But it's the same thing. Like, our inventory is healthier than it's ever been as a kind of result of this and of so many of our suppliers being closed and we couldn't get stuff.
Laura, I keep thinking, I'm intrigued by the thought of you getting on a plane. I'm wondering, have you started to do any other things that you hadn't been doing? Have you been out and about in a way that you hadn't been?
No, not a ton. I don't really want to go down there. I mean, I do because I love the people down there, but I'm going down there because I kind of have to. It's falling apart a little bit.
I don't think you're taking any huge risk getting on an airplane at all. I do think there's an element of this, and I get it. I'm not downplaying at all. It's extremely serious, and tons of people are dying, and it's horrible. But I do think that something like getting on a plane where there's not a lot of people wearing a mask, I can't. And I'm no doctor, but I can't imagine that's a major risky thing at this point. I'm going to stores as little as I have to, but I will tell you, my head's changed. A month ago, 6 weeks ago, when I went in a store and someone's wearing a mask, I'm thinking, you idiot. And now I go in there, they're not wearing a mask. I'm going, you idiot. I mean, I don't think anybody should be going to stores without masks on at this point. And like I said, with the customer thing, they're getting it. I mean, we're trying to be respectful to the situation. I will tell you, though, this is not black and white. I'm absolutely not subscribing to everyone should open up. If people die, they die. But we can't wait until this thing's completely gone either. I mean, trying to find a reasonable middle to that, I don't have an easy answer. I don't think there is one. And, so we can't wait until there's a vaccine made. That we'll be all out of business.
Yeah. What I was going to ask you guys about and ask for your advice on was you had talked about hazard pay. So we're doing the same thing, with the people that are coming into the warehouse here in Reno, and paying them a percentage. And I'm really considering, I'm really worried that once everything opens back up, like, at what point do you stop giving them hazard pay? And then what about all those people that came to work, even though they didn't have to? They probably could have quit, filed for unemployment.
No, they wouldn't have gotten unemployment if they quit.
Why do you think, why did you decide to give hazard pay?
Because because they were scared. A fair number of them were scared in the beginning.
And if they get paid more, they're less scared?
Yeah. It shows.
No, they're getting compensated. They're getting compensated for taking risk. And we need to use up the PPP money. And that's a legitimate way to. I
mean, for me, it was more an acknowledgement of, I acknowledge that you could stay home, or that you could call in sick, or that you could use your PTO, but we need you right now. And I appreciate the fact that you're coming to work and getting in your car, and that there is a risk. And especially in the beginning, when everything was just so terrifying, the media made it so terrifying. So, but what I'm a little bit worried about is, at what point do you stop this hazard pay? And then where does motivation go? All of a sudden they've been getting paid, an extra amount, and then things go back to normal. And, so I'm wondering if I keep it for some of them, the ones who have been really reliable and really dependable and have shown up every day.
I can tell you, I'm not grappling with that at all. I'm going to pay the hazard pay for 8 weeks until the PPP thing's done. And then if people aren't happy about it, whenever I do business speeches, people say, Jay, how do you motivate people? I believe the secret in my world, I'll just say for me, in my world, it's not about motivating people. It's about not demotivating them. So I have people that come to work. My average person's been here 10 years, no problem. If they need to be motivated by getting paid extra 30% and they know the company can't afford it, like, sorry, that's the way it is. And if they're not happy with that, they should go work somewhere else then, because there's a certain point to where enough's enough already. We're trying to stay in business, for God's sakes. We will have been shut down for 2.5 months. And there's a point to where, I'm the only one that's going to be losing money in this deal at the end of the day. They're getting extra money from the government for unemployment. They're getting hazard pay. Everybody at the end of the year is going to have a banner year for income. And I'm probably going to lose. I'm going to lose hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. So there's a point to where it's like, yeah, I have no guilt about. I've treated everyone well. I've compensated them. I've done the best I can. But if after 2 months of getting extra pay, they come and say, "Gee, I really would like," that's unfortunate. You feel that way, but you know what? I don't know what to tell you. There's a point where enough's enough already. And
no, that's a great point. I just remember I'm coming from the last 2 or 3 years losing hundreds of thousands and not being able to give raises and not being able to give bonuses. And so for 2 or 3 years, I've asked them all to give me everything that they have and not get paid for it.
That's
so
different.
They're getting paid under market right now.
Wait, so then the answer is you go from the hazard pay to just giving them raises of whatever, 10%. And like, that's reasonable. That's fair. That's, I hate to use words. That's the right thing to do.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm just so impressed that after years and years of us all pushing so hard and losing money and foregoing raises and not having Christmas parties and not doing this and not doing that and not having any money in the bank, and being freaking terrified constantly, that they're all still they're showing up, every day.
Here's the problem I'm having. I got one person in particular. So this is the exact situation I'm in. So what do you do when everybody, you explain to them, look, we have to do business. We need to stay in business. We're going to give you extra money. Happy to do it. And then there's one person that goes, yeah, I don't want to come back to work yet. I don't have an easy solution. Like, tell them everyone else came back. I got to tell you, I need you back here. I won't even do it this month. I'll wait until June 1st when the whole state's opened up. On June 1st, if you don't want to come back to work, then I'm going to have to replace your job. I mean, I don't know what choice I have. I mean, at some point.
We're in the same spot. We have a couple people like that, and I don't know what we're going to do.
Karen, I'd like to ask you about what Jay was saying before about trying to find the happy medium, opening back up at the right speed, not too fast, not too slow. Are you at all concerned that people are jumping to get the gun around the country?
Yeah, the governors in California, Washington, and I believe Oregon, and maybe there may be a few more, are all working together with a reentry plan. I'm super impressed with not only our governor, but California and a bunch of other states. They're really taking the charge and taking it seriously and making sure that everybody's safety and well-being is paramount over the economy. And so, obviously they're closely related, and it's very difficult to make a call to affect someone's livelihood by not allowing them to open their business versus, looking at overall public health. But I think a lot of what they're really encouraging, there's a lot of curbside pickup going on. There's a lot of deliveries. And it's really fun for me to sort of watch how businesses in the Seattle area are pivoting and being creative. And even for us, we have research labs, really state-of-the-art research labs in our Seattle and San Diego offices. And, how are we going to run research studies in there? Because that's one of our researchers who's acting as the interviewer, essentially in close quarters with the participant who's somebody off the street. So and now we're doing everything remote. And there are some studies that we just can't do because it requires a physical, VR equipment in some cases. And so we're busy trying to figure out, okay, so how can we, what would allow us to be able to do that? And so we're looking at ozone treatments to sanitize the hardware, that you put it in a little case, you shut the door, it gets sanitized, and then the new participant can take it out and put it on. And then our moderator is in another room using a robot to communicate with the participant. So we're doing all kinds of crazy things like that to try to really pivot and be creative so that we can get back to serving our clients, which they're trying to run their businesses and they need the study to get their business going.
I'm going to tell you what I find extremely disturbing when you watch TV. You see some of these states where these people are going to the down to City Hall or down to wherever with guns and signs, and they're like without masks on. And with the constitutional thing, like, I get it that sometimes you got to open the business, but like to suggest this isn't a real problem and they should all go down there congregating without masks on and just like, it's really just unfortunate. And there's no question people are going to die from this unnecessarily. And with that being said, they're going to have to open up the businesses at some point, but they could be more respectful to each other is my point.
Well, let me ask you this, Jay. The government can say it's okay to open up, but consumers actually have to come back. Whether you can just flip a switch and turn the economy back on is an open question. Is there something that you guys as business owners should be thinking about in case this reopening doesn't go well and you have to go through the process again?
Your fear mongering isn't working again. And no, I can't predict 3 months from now and worry about it.
I'm not asking you to predict. I'm asking you if you're prepared.
No, I'm just saying, no, I don't have an answer. No, there's nothing to prepare. All I can do is try to get rid of some inventory, try to keep some cash around. And here's where it gets interesting. There is going to come a moment in time where you do have to say at some point, these are grown people. If a business owner chooses that they want to open their business and another human being that lives in the United States wants to come in and do business with them, where's the line where we say, okay, it's their call versus a person in the state house who's never run a business in their life and is getting a check every Friday?
Well, but that's a great question. But if it would be different if it only affected the two people who are doing business with each other.
I got it. But what about if you're going to lose your livelihood and everything you've worked for your entire, is it, I'm saying it's not black and white. I'm saying there is a point to where there's risk out there. And like I said, there will never come a day where everyone's going to go, okay, completely done. Like World War II, done. It was over. There's not going to come a day where anybody's going to be able to say, this thing is completely done, open for business. No one's going to die.
We shut down so that we could put ourselves in a position to use that time wisely and ramp up testing and our ability to trace. And we're not doing those things. So
no, I'm not arguing with that. I don't think it's time yet. I think we got to get the testing thing done. And there's no question. But like I said, there could come a point where we could say, okay, all that stuff's done. I mean, I can't stay closed for a year.
Well, it seems to me, after what I've been hearing, that we can't decide as a community if we're China or if we're Sweden. Do we want to be completely locked down and squash it out, or do we want to just open it up and let natural selection run its course?
That's a good way to put it, Laura.
I want you to know, do you think I'm going to survive it for natural selection? Give me your best guess, Laura.
No.
Right.
Are you kidding?
Because I'm elderly? Yeah.
No, because you're assholey.
No, those are the people that survive. Haven't you figured that out yet? You're so young and naive.
Yes,
you think the nice people survive?
You're too stubborn. Of course you're going to survive.
On that note, we are out of time. My thanks to Karen Clark-Cole, Jay Goltz, and Laura Zander. Really appreciate it, guys. Thank you for taking the time and for sharing what you're going through with this. Be careful out there. Thanks for listening, everybody. This episode was produced by Jess Thuberon, founder of Blank Word Productions. Remember, we started the 21 Hats podcast to help business owners feel a little less isolated, to let them know they aren't the only ones fighting these battles. If you got something out of this conversation, please help us reach more people. Tell a friend, subscribe and review us wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Twitter at 21_hats. And let me know if you have a question or a comment or a topic you'd like us to cover. My email address is lfeldman@21hats.com. See you next time.